Salad or Dolly, threw a great party. We all drank Bacardi, it got kinda gnarly. We're light as a feather, we're tougher than leather. Together we're weirder together.
Good day, Bentley.
G'day, Ione Sky. Spoken like a true honorary Australian.
Thank you.
Are you feeling more Australian
Yes.
today? It's a public holiday.
It is. And I was already feeling like I'm living on a permanent holiday.
True. What are we celebrating today? Are you aware of what this public holiday is all about?
I am not. I'm not aware. I don't know. But it was a muggy morning. It was a nice morning. Took the dog out, walked around. We delivered something to somebody. It sounds very suspicious.
Yeah. We run these streets.
You know what I'm saying? These mean streets of Paddington. No, we did a charity. We dropped off. It was adorable. It was a T-shirt from your tour.
Signed, yeah.
And a memoir of my writing.
Also signed.
Your T-shirts this tour are mwah, bellissima.
Yeah, the merch has come out really good. We just went for these reprints of sort of classic designs that people have bought over the years and just got them redone.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it's really good.
Because you're a classic design of the past years on this tour.
Well, thank you so much.
You know,
and then we did one new one that was Meg Washington's idea. She said, you got to give one sort of for the ladies or people who don't want too much print. So we did one that's just like a pink shirt with a white carnation.
Yes.
Which I've since realized white carnation is a funeral home service around Australia.
Everything is hip. Everything is acceptable.
And death is life.
That's right.
Awake is the new sleep. My tour has been, it's been like a chill emotional roller coaster.
Isn't that the new phase? I mean, in some ways.
Yeah, it's like, I think just as I get older and things stop having the sort of mania they once had, and I'm able to just be present in, work experiences or whatever, it's, I'm able to enjoy it, but I'm also able to it's been very big and very vulnerable sharing these songs and even just trying something as sort of innately conservative as like a nostalgic, anniversary tour, which is something I was so resistant to. It's been vulnerable to try something new for me,
Yeah, that's true. You like to be the one kind of in charge of your whole thing,
and I like to be able to keep things changing all the time. So the idea of having a structure has been mildly threatening to me, but the audience has been loving it.
Well, I'm glad as your partner, you don't mind the structure of our relationship.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. I feel very safe within this. But our relationship changes all the time. I think that's one of the things that actually makes it work for both of us, that it doesn't feel stagnant ever.
It makes sense why you married a mercurial? No, am I mercurial?
Yeah, mercurial, like Mercury. It's hard to get a grasp of.
Yes, I can see why now. It all's making sense.
Yeah, I like a little mystery. And even with these shows, the reality is, once you get into anything that's really well rehearsed, there is room for play and spontaneity in unexpected ways. I mean, we've baked in a little bit of chaos. We've got the saxophone players showing up each night. We have different people doing the flower arrangements. And then naturally, I can never repeat banter even the same way twice. So it all has it has spontaneity to it. And I'm just I don't know, I guess I'm kind of really surprised by how just the gratitude I'm feeling to the audience, it's
that's
really,
nice.
It's been a really beautiful thing. And all the band, everyone's getting along so well. That's really nice too. Mm-hmm. It's nice seeing all these musicians become friends. And we had great feedback about our Sally Saltman episode last week.
Oh,
and
good.
That's so connected to this tour. I've really made it my personal mission as part of this tour to get some historic reappraisal going on of the Sally Saltman legacy, particularly around, every night when I introduce her to come up and join us for 1, 2, 3, 4, the song she wrote for Feist, I always say, our next guest wrote a song that you don't realize she wrote. And it's amazing looking at the wonder and recognition come over people.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited for Melbourne. Maybe I'll hop in the crowd instead of just being the...
Hell yeah. Stage dive?
No, I just mean instead of being on the sidelines.
Oh, yeah, not watching from the side of stage, yeah. Have you ever stage dived?
No, but I do have a fun stage diving story. I was on tour with the Beastie Boys, and I guess there was a moment where there was stage diving. Why? I don't know why there would have been, but
Oh, well, that was the 90s.
yeah,
Stage diving was
I
peaking.
just mean with the Beastie Boys. But so we were on this great tour. Frankie Pugliese.
No, Frankie Inglesi.
Inglesi. I know two Frankies.
And you know them so well that there's no
and Pugliese.
You should have transcended this confusion by
one
this
is
point.
a DJ, one is a playwright. I'm so sorry. They're both New Yorkers, Frankies. Anyway, we were on tour and it was really funny because two things I recall. Frankie and I, this was a fancy tour where there was like not a chef, but there was food like at every, like catered food backstage or something. It was a little fancy. Like there was a
catering. Well, they were like
set.
arena shows. You can have a caterer.
Yeah,
That's good.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, and Frankie and I, for some reason, couldn't stop. He was like, I can't stop eating every day because we were on the bus with them. I guess Frankie was doing a set or something before. I can't remember.
Oh, was he DJing on the tour?
Maybe, because why would he have been on? I mean, we're all friends, and my brother was just tagging along, of course, for fun. But we were like convinced we had a worm in our stomach because we both could not stop eating like so much. Second thing was in the bus, we played the Cars album from beginning to end. The one with Here in My Car, but the whole album.
Wait, that's Gary Newman.
No, not Gary, not Here in My Car.
Whatever. Just What I Needed.
Yes.
Yeah. The first Cars
album. And you know when you re-listen to a full album at the right time.
Sure.
So we had like a drug experience without the drugs of just like, oh my God, blown away together. We were bonded for some reason on this tour. And then I'm at one of the shows and I'm backstage for some reason before the show ended or something, or the show just ended. And Frankie comes backstage, like he's like covered in blood. We had to get the like nurse. And he's like, I stage dived. Your brother had done a stage dive. And for some reason, my brother had two carnations, one behind each ear, just like there was carnations backstage, and he'd put them on.
Like a matador.
Like a matador, exactly. And my brother did a stage dive, and Dano luck is what we call it. He went out on the crowd, came back, delivered beautifully. Frankie's like, your brother, Dano, he goes out, carnations, still, he comes back on stage after stage diving. They're still behind his ears. They didn't even come out. Me, I think, okay, I go in. He drops on the floor, then finally he's completely cut with like nails and he's with the paramedics. So that's the opposite.
Were there any permanent injuries?
I doubt it, but it's like the opposite of Dano luck.
True, Frankie luck.
I mean, he's lucky in his own way, but it was just like we were playing up that my brother has this kind of luck and Frankie was like, wah, wah.
I hear you. Beautiful babies, you may be hearing barking of our little dog Gus downstairs. Normally we put him in doggy daycare during pods, but it's a public holiday today. So if you're sensing that, I'm just checking this camera's still good and all rolling. Yes, it is. Yeah, I hear. So is this, though, the weekend where you may finally stage dive?
No.
No? You just wouldn't do it? You have no interest? What's the fear? Is it?
I don't want to stage
But wait, you don't
dive.
have any part of you that's ever been like, oh my God, that would be so freeing? Like, doesn't it look fun at all? No.
No, I like it. I liked it. I liked watching it. I like it as a thing.
You don't need to do it. It reminds me
do
of
it.
when Bijou Phillips shaved off her eyebrows with the reasoning that you have to try everything once. And Matthew Horowitz very wisely said, you actually don't. So there you go.
That's right.
So what else? How's it been for you while I've been away?
It's been good. It's just me and the kid and the dog.
Mm-hmm.
You may hear the dog. It's only because I told a very energized story.
Yeah, the dog heard you. I know, totally. It's funny. He really picks up on our energy. If we're being mellow,
That's the word that
he's
Kanye said was okay. Excited, no. Energized was all right.
Totally. Well, we should definitely be taking linguistic and mental health advice from Kanye West.
No, but people get into. We actually had that conversation, which was funny. We went to the most beautiful luncheon. I'll get back to how my time was away from you when you were on tour, but we're invited over for lunch. I'm only calling it luncheon because it was like so old school. my friend Kitty and Gio. So they had this lunch table with antique, like Italian white linens on the table with this beautiful lunch. And it was reminding me so much of like Katharine Hepburn in the 1940s. There was a view of boats and water, but it's like not, they're not like fancy schmancy uptight people. They're like artists.
Oh, it was effortlessly chic.
It was just that kind of thing.
Go. Yeah.
So we had this luncheon. Where is my story going? I don't remember. Oh, yes. And then one of the conversations at the table was about that thing about taking pictures of water when there's like, quote unquote.
Oh, yeah. That like the Emoto, the guy that did
Yes.
that frequencies of water thing.
Yes.
And the crystals inside.
Yeah,
it.
the crystals. And when it's like classical music or beautiful words, the crystals look good. And when it's not, I always like thought, oh, it's a little bit of baloney.
Well, it reveals a very deep prejudice often against heavy metal music.
Yeah.
Because there's always an experiment where someone plays heavy metal music and then ugly crystals are formed.
I know.
Which
Or-
beauty surely is not that objective. It must be in the eye of the beholder to some degree, right?
And that whole time when Kanye was correcting Rick Rubin or whatever, the one moment when enthused versus excited, which I get, but you can't get like crazy about. I mean, words,
Let's not get crazy.
let's not get crazy.
Yeah.
But Gio was talking about this thing he was doing with wine. They would make wine during certain times and drink it during certain times. It was kind of like
They had like a love
fun.
bottle and a hate bottle.
Yeah,
One
like,
you'd say
so-
angry things to and one you'd say really loving
I mean,
things
it's
to.
fun. Who
I love
knows?
it. Also, huge Steve Pav sending AI images of himself riding a donkey like Jesus
Who was the
across
first
world.
person?
And,
I can tell.
you can pick AI, you reckon?
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of people can, but I pride myself on picking AI because I'm getting older and they always make fun of older people sending,
Sure.
which happens. Like older people are getting tricked and sending me AI things, thinking it's an adorable, like we have a dachshund and like, there's dachshunds jumping on a trampoline and I'm like, okay, that's not.
I sent one of to Goldie that was AI. I didn't realize it was like an old lady taking care of a grizzly bear that came up
those
to
are
her
always
porch. I didn't
AI.
know that was AI. I totally fell for it.
I mean, some aren't. It's just a quality that's like,
I
it's
hear
like
you.
a fake orgasm. You
Okay.
can tell.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Fair
I don't know.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Supposedly, I don't know.
But
if
yeah, I
can.
was good when you went away. It's always like right when you're about to come home, I'm like, okay, I can't do the dog anymore alone. I can't.
Right.
But he's a good boy and we pal around and Goldie, I have to learn how to like keep my life going. Like whenever I'm alone being a mom and like taking care of a dog, a kid, the house when you're away, I act as if that's all I can do.
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't like paint. And I mean, of course I would do my work if I had to.
Yeah, but you're single parenting. I mean, parenting is like an incredibly full-time thing, even
That's
with
true.
teenagers.
But psychologically, I'm just like, I can't do anything else. So I just sort of do that. I don't like exercise. I don't paint. I just do, you know what I mean? But it's
True.
kind of fun and relaxing. I actually was getting into it because I was like, all I have to do is sit here while the dog naps on me. I can't do anything else.
That is a pretty cozy experience.
Yeah.
So what else?
I'm excited for Melbourne. I am excited to work on I'm acting.
Oh yeah, you're doing some acting this week
Tomorrow?
with an Australian comedian. It's probably some kind of do not disclose thing. So, but it's cool. It's going to be fun.
Exactly. And then I'm doing something with Griffin Dunn and, this writers festival thing. And also I'm just starting to read Evan Dando's memoir.
Yes, Evan Dando has put out this long-awaited memoir called "Rumors of My Demise." And how far into it are you?
Not far. I like to go slow. Like I was Googling Evan Dando's pictures of his parents because I don't have a version that has pictures. I was Googling, I stop and I need like the visuals, like what does Holly, his sister, look like again? Like, so I've been making a meal out of it and I'm liking it so far.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's an interesting book because he wrote it with a collaborator, with this guy, Jim Ruland. And often when people write memoirs and they have like a ghostwriter or a collaborator, the goal of it is for that person's voice to be totally absent. But I think with this book and with how out there Evan Dando's mind is, that you're very well aware when you're reading it that this is not Evan's voice.
Well,
it's like interpreted.
It's kind of
and
smart.
it's kind of good.
I mean,
yeah.
Prince Harry was sort of the first one that I noticed who was very openly like naming a ghostwriter. But I think for Evan, because he's a writer, like Prince Harry, I don't know, maybe he's a writer, but Evan's a writer. So it's sort of smart for him to say, like, I didn't write this, basically.
Yeah, because I was thinking,
lest someone think his voice sounds like that. Or
yeah,
something.
I was thinking like if he'd written it totally on his own, what would it be like? And I'm like, it would have been nuts. I mean, Evan Dando's mind is like a series of alleys that like you can get lost in if you wander down them. And he really like, he's an absurdist and he's kind of chaotic and dark. And I think this is like, you are getting a more, just like a more accessible commercial version of him. But anyway, aside
I think
from that,
Parker Posey did that kind of more meandering.
Yeah. But with this, the story, I know Evan pretty well, but there were lots of things that I was really happy to get some insight on.
Yeah. I like will you read from the book what he said about you?
Oh, that feels weird. I don't know.
Oh,
you could read it if you
okay.
want. I don't think if I want to read someone talking about me.
It was really nice.
No, he did talk about our collaboration, and he gave me credit for being a little bit of a taskmaster, but like helping him get focused and get on track, which there is one really nice thing he said about me in the book, which he said the difference between writing songs with me and other people was with other people, there was a lot of talking about writing songs, and with me, it was writing songs.
And didn't he say one other thing about you? Like, well, anyway, you wrote 2 phenomenal songs for him.
Yeah, I think he was saying that in All My Life, Hard Drive and All My Life, that All My Life had a degree of insight into his personality.
Oh, yeah, that's what was
that he probably wouldn't have been able to have at that point.
Yeah, I really love that because All My Life, because you were objective. You could see his world. And at the time he was saying he couldn't have been that observant about himself.
Yeah, that song All My Life actually came out of a conversation I was having with Dustin Yellen, the artist, where we were talking about Evan. And Dustin said, Evan's a sensation addict.
Oh.
And I kind of loved that phrase. And so I put that line in, and I'm so impatient for a new sensation, which is sort of also like an INXS, little nod. But there were so many cool little tidbits in this book, like the stories of, they grew up sort of, privileged kids in Massachusetts. And there were stories of being at Jesse Perez's house and a Rodin sculpture going missing after a party.
Oh my God.
And one of these kids had like taken it out of the house and put it in a trash can down the street. Oh my God. It was amazing.
That reminds me of Mike D when Tamara was just dating him, and she was just like, there'd be like a Leger painting just under the bed in the guest room, just like waiting to be framed. But she was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was pretty great. And he shared some interesting thoughts about, he was a pinup, like in the 90s, like Evan got as famous for the band as for being like the alternate hunk, they called him. And there was a great line in the book. He said, I thought of myself as a songwriter who happened to be good looking, not a good looking person who happened to write songs.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting. Like it does become, we've talked about it a lot, but the idea that people's looks really can like overtake their legacy, and you end up feeling a bit like, what am I,
I mean, even the last time I saw him, which was like several months ago, I was like, wow, you're tall, you have really long arms, like you've very broad shoulders. Like I was like,
he's Nordic, he has that like Viking kind of thing.
It was like funny, I didn't remember that, but he was like, he's goofy.
There were cool bits too about like, I didn't realize Johnny Depp had based his character in Gilbert Grape on Evan.
Wow.
That was kind of interesting because they would hang out a lot.
I love that.
There was a lot about drugs that, Evan's had a lot of misadventures with drugs, obviously, and he's been very open about that. And one of the things that I think I realized that I actually am grateful for is that Evan's openness about drugs was still really quite novel at the time, when he was like, not even about glorifying it, just about acknowledging that drug use and altered states of consciousness were a very natural thing to be curious about. Mm-hmm. And I think that influenced me quite a lot into sort of the idea of like demystifying drug use. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
that, and you know, he's yeah, I mean, I remember him saying things. He's always been very transparent about that stuff. Like I remember once on tour when he was saying, I just can't make sense of life without drugs. And that type of honesty is like, you don't hear a lot of people talk like that.
Yeah.
And this book is full of that kind of stuff. I also just love, there's a whole lot of stuff about Keith Richards, who he met through his son Marlon.
Right.
And
Marlon's great.
yeah, and Some Girls, because Evan turned me on to that record, Some Girls. Really interesting. Some Girls is a bit of an underrated Stones record. And the two people who got me into that record were Evan Dando and Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon said to me at a party, he was like, you've got to get into Some Girls. It's like the best Stones album. And it's like a super underrated record in a way, because it's like it's probably the Stones record where they first really started doing the Stones almost in a caricature sense.
Oh, interesting.
And I like that meta thing. But Evan talks a lot about going through, finding the demos at Keith's house and listening to them. And just all these really fun, all these really fun tidbits. But one of the other cool things I realized that I really took from Evan was he says this line in the book, I treated fame like a game, a big experiment. And I related to that so intensely. Like we talk a lot about how young people now are so savvy about their careers. Whereas when we were coming up, it was more like, ooh, what can we do with this? What mischief can we cause with this? And I just thought Evan, in this book really articulated some of the more complex and subtle things about his viewpoints and world outlook that are like really useful and unique.
Yeah. I know what you mean. And as far as like the drug stuff, it's like, it's true. It's always creepier if someone's pretending to not be the way they are. And of course he pulled a lot of things together. I mean, that sounds like, it's not to say that like, haha, he like drugs, fine. There's definitely points that he was just like, ooh, he saw himself. And I was looking up that performance he did to pay back the people in Massachusetts in the beginning of the book. He did
like a Boston Music Award or something like that, right?
Something he did it at like a convenience store, and they filmed.
At the Walgreens. No, yeah, that was more recently. Yeah.
And he looked at the footage and he was just like, ugh, I look like I do too many drugs. And then he sort of like, it kind of woke him up a little bit.
But the interesting thing is that he doesn't display, which I think is actually kind of healthy, is shame.
No, I know. I like that. Because it's so true.
Because most people have like fake shame.
Sure.
Where it seems like they're doing it because they think that's what's socially acceptable, but it's not genuine.
Yeah, I appreciate that something is not complicated.
Yeah, totally.
Honest.
It's really, I think it's if you're interested, obviously, in like 90s and alternative music and stuff, but also just about how, I don't know, I think it charts a really interesting story of the way that the underground collided with the mainstream in the 90s, and how a lot of, when it came in and scooped up people like Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love and Billy Corgan and Evan Dando, these were people who were ambitious and wanted to do well, but were also, who knows if anyone's ever emotionally equipped for mainstream superstardom, but you really do get the sense of how ill prepared, like particularly in his honesty with the media. That was like, there was no media training. Like Evan just laid it all out there. And
I know, you have to have a seriousness like about it, even when you're not aware. I must have been serious myself to get certain things done, because you think, oh, we're just artists. But yeah, it's nice when you realize that you actually did pull things together.
Totally. So yeah, check it out. Rumors of My Demise.
I'm excited for Cameron Crowe's memoir.
Yeah, I want to read that. I loved his New York Times thing.
Yeah, and I think that there's going to be a lot of good kind of movies coming out. So yeah, I'm excited about things.
Yeah, I'm excited about the Rose and Ivy Walk movie. If I had legs, I'd kick you.
Yes.
We got to see the PTA this week.
I know, I'm excited. And also there's the new, because of censorship, there's a sort of, what do you think of the group of actors and artists who are coming together a la McCarthyism era? Like, have you read that about
tell
them?
me.
Oh, no, just there was sort of some articles that, Mark Ruffalo, Jane Fonda, so many people, Anne Hathaway. Like, I don't know, they're just banding
So wait, this is like
together.
inspired by the Jimmy Kimmel, that
Yes,
whole thing,
yes.
right?
And they're sort of, saying that it's similar to like when some actors, some people in Hollywood and the business stood up for freedom of speech, and then some kind of folded and told on their fellows.
Yeah, look, I think I think the left, which is, where we would position ourselves, are learning some pretty intense and humbling lessons about censorship, and because I do think there is a hypocrisy that both parties display, which is they generally like the other side to be censored, but they don't like themselves to be censored.
Exactly.
And in Australia, it's a little different because we don't have freedom of speech is not a constitutionally protected thing. We actually have laws against hate speech. America's got a different thing, but America is founded on the idea of like sort of free speech absolutism.
Yeah, I feel complicated about that whole freedom of speech for that reason, like, because then it seems hypocritical to say, well, you can't say this, but we can say that. But yeah, and what do you think about what else was I going to ask you about? I was going to ask you about that. Oh yeah, the Dubai thing.
Oh, all the comedians going to the Riyadh Comedy Festival. I actually think it's really interesting. I think it brings up a lot of really interesting questions. To say that going and performing and taking money from the Saudi regime is, the defenders of it say, well, look, the American government is equally corrupt. Why is it particularly bad to go and perform over there? It's not that it's bad to go and perform necessarily. It's that they are taking money from the actual regime to promote the legitimacy of the state. I would feel quite similarly in America if a group of comedians took money from Trump to do a televised TV special, in some way positioning Trump's regime as if it supported open conversation and dialogue and comedy. So to me, it's not so much about the fact that they're going there. I'm a little bit like with cultural boycotts. I don't know. I see both sides of it, but I do think taking money from a government is complex, and it's not a great look, whether it's a Saudi government or an American government,
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
will you explain, while we're on the topic of you, kind of me picking your brain, explaining things to me, what's going on with Charli XCX and Taylor Swift?
Well, let's start with, what do you know?
Oh, right. I know. This will be like one of my favorite podcasts, Reply All, that they canceled themselves, but I loved Reply All.
So what do you know about Charli XCX and Taylor Swift and their history?
I don't know anything about their history. I wouldn't know Charli XCX as well as I do if it weren't for my daughter, because we listen to her in the car all the time. And same with Taylor Swift.
Back when but anything?
I just know their music.
Relationship?
I didn't even know they knew each other. I could imagine they wouldn't cross over, because Taylor Swift seems so much more commercial in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all. I don't know.
Okay, so you really don't know.
I really don't know.
So the basic background is that Charli XCX is now married to this guy, George, who's the drummer for this band, the 1975, right?
Yeah.
Taylor dated Maddie Healy, who's the singer for the 1975. So that's essentially where their worlds intersected.
Okay.
Charli wrote a song called Sympathy is a Knife, which was an expression of confusion, insecurity, maybe some resentment. I don't think it's like, it did have an element of attack in it, but it was about supposedly Taylor Swift coming backstage to the 1975 shows and the way it made Charli feel. Because you can imagine, like, Taylor Swift is such a presence. Like, she's one of those people at a level that when she walks into a room, she changes the molecular vibration of the room, right? So Charli wrote a song about that. Taylor Swift has on her new album a song which like pretty directly targets Charli XCX for being a user of cocaine and for talking shit about her, and tries to play it off as if, you know, that kind of thing is like, oh, I'm so flattered you're thinking about me so much. Like, that's the vibe of the song. It's like, oh, you're obsessed with me.
Yeah,
Type
but
thing,
why?
right?
Well, how was it talking shit? I mean, it was a little bit, or
It was a little bit. And look, I'm sure there's things behind the scenes that we
Right.
don't know about. Yeah, like obviously everything that goes on between whether it's like Lana Del Rey and Ethel Cain, or, you know, in the Australian music industry too, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And we're not privy to all of that. But either way, it just so happened that this was the moment Taylor chose to respond. And for me, there is one big lesson that comes out of watching this whole thing. Well, I guess more importantly, it flopped. Right? Like, basically everyone made fun of it. People don't like the record anyway. Taylor's record, which, because it's, you know, it's a little vapid and it's gone straight down the middle and
Right.
whatever. There's a whole, I don't want to get back into like all the Swifties
Sure,
attacking me online.
No.
But it didn't work, right? Essentially. And she came out not looking great from it. And I think there is a big lesson about the art of war in this move and in the fallout of it. Because you got to remember, the music industry operates a lot like mob run Chicago or something like that. You know what I mean? And the main lesson that you can learn from this incident is that if you're going to take a shot at the Queen, you better not miss.
Sure.
Right? And that's the thing. Like, it flopped. Like, had Taylor...
Well, so Charlie's the queen now, you're saying?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, Charli XCX, and I think Taylor knows this, Charli is a more relevant cultural force.
That must
she just
be
is.
so intense.
She is not more successful in terms of numbers,
No.
but that's not what culture really was ever about. It was about influence. It was about being forward thinking. It was about, you know, the way you change culture. And I think Charli has proven to be the foremost pop cultural thinker in pop music at the moment. And Taylor tried to take her down and she missed. And that leaves you vulnerable. This is purely in a political sense.
But
you
it's
know?
flattering for Charlie and for Taylor for the one and to be mentioned. It's flattering to Charlie that Taylor mentioned her, and it's flattering to Taylor that Charlie. I mean, I think, you know, what is it? Press can be weighed. What is it?
Yeah, you don't read your press, you weigh it.
Yeah. So on one hand, it's good for both because it's just like, you know, they're giving each other press. I like what you did because you have so many haters, and lots of people have written about you negatively in their own songs, and you just did a medley. Sometimes you do a medley when you're...
I covered them, yeah.
And you cover all these songs in this medley, which is great.
But don't you think this is like interesting, like from a battle perspective, like watching generals, where it's sort of like if you divorce yourself, which is very hard to do, but from the human loss and human capital expended in war, which is obviously awful, and just look at military strategy, the idea that your hit has to work.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because once you attack somebody and it doesn't work, you've shown your cards.
I know.
And at that point, it's like you've given the other person, when you miss, you give the other person all the power. And it's going to be very interesting just to watch culturally how things reset from here. But I've got to say, I love that this moment's happening. I can be a well-known hater myself, an old school hater of things, but more than anything, I'm a lover of people that like make culture dynamic, and I'm loving this moment.
Oh, good. Good.
So yeah, do you feel in the know?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Appreciate it.
Really good. So Wednesday, you and Griff and Dunn are going to be having a chat at the Brisbane Writers Festival
Yeah,
about Hollywood and writing books about Hollywood, right?
that's right.
Are you interviewing each other or just both on a panel?
I hope we talk. Yeah, I mean, we know each other a little bit. I think we can do whatever we want. No, I'm sure it's organized.
And Kelly Lloyd from Scream Feeder,
Yeah.
who I grew up, I did some gigs with.
Yeah,
they were like
yeah.
a big indie band. She's interviewing you for your panel, so
I know,
I'm excited about that.
I know, I'm really excited. And it's full summertime up there.
Amazing. Summertime sadness. My shows this weekend are the Victorian shows, Torquay, Castlemaine, and Melbourne. Melbourne is like on the verge of selling out. I think we're at like 98.5% tickets sold. So if you want to come to that, get tickets now. These, we're into the second half of the Awake As You Sleep tour, and it's pretty exciting. These shows are just gorgeous. So come on out. And I don't know. Anything else?
Yeah, I'm just still trying to understand Letterboxd.
Okay.
I mean, I like reviewing. I think it's like making me good at reviewing. No, I'm not. I just, it's cool because it's not really interactive, which is kind of good.
I mean, I think you can look at other people's.
You
haven't looked at anyone else's,
Alexi
right?
Toliopoulos liked something I reviewed, but it's kind of cool because it's not like Instagram. You're not like adding on to people's reviews, so you can just go. My reviews are probably mental, but I guess it's like a way for you to log what you've seen and others can see. It's sharing. I like that it's actually not that interactive. So as I'm speaking about it out loud to you, I'm realizing I appreciate this logging of films you've seen.
So Beautiful Babies, find Ione on Letterboxd. Give her a little guidance if you want, little advice on how she could
I don't think you
utilize
can.
the platform.
That's why,
okay.
I mean, but if you want to write, we have questions for our mini episode.
Yeah.
So
we've got some good ones. So yeah, there'll be another one of those.
I don't know what a letterbox question would be, but
Yeah.
no, I'm sure it wouldn't be.
Sounds like
good.
you're asking it. How do I use it?
No, I don't. I mean, anyway, but yeah, everything old is new again.
All right, beautiful babies. Thank you for tuning in, and head over to our Substack, join the mailing list if you want to take deeper dives into any of these subjects. And,
That's right.
We'll chat soon.
Love you, babies.
Bye.
Together we're weirder together.